Hello, everyone. Before I start this review of Daredevil Born Again Part 3, I want to show what I didn't show the first episode, but which I showed the second episode, which is this artist edition of Daredevil Born Again. And here's one of the other 2007 Dave Mazzucchelli drawings that he made. Another great one. Very different, very stylized, a little cartoony. And then I'll just go through a few different images here to show the difference. Like, that was the original cover that you'll be seeing momentarily. That one right there. And then what they did was, I guess they did this vellum to make it like a blue with snow in the background. Pretty damn cool. And I'll show a few more things and then I'll get to the review. Also, check this out, guys. I just felt it right now, actually. There's Braille on the cover. How cool is that? Hey, Brent. There's Braille on the cover. How cool is that, guys? I just felt it right now when I was holding the cover for the blind superhero, Daredevil. That is awesome. And again, look how much work Mazzucchelli put into the original art. He did all the shading himself here. And then the colors came in and, of course, added the color. But it looks like he put most of the tone, if not all of it. And just want to show a few different things here. Like this also. This image right here of Matt in the alleyway. They actually had some, look at that, a little texture there. Looks like Zipatone to me, but a different type. Surprint blue. I guess it prints out in blue. I guess we will see that on the actual page when I show you. But look at this also. Look at this art. And these look like they were added. They were cut out and added onto the page after the fact. Maybe he wasn't pleased with what he had drawn there prior. I don't know. I've done that myself. Years ago. People for One, The Infidel 1. The Infidel featuring Pigment 1. This is another great issue, of course, and look at this stuff. Look at that. Perfect, beautiful. Hello out there. How are you? So yeah, I just wanted to show that before I forgot. So now I can get on to the review. Thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate it. Looks a little smaller crowd than usual. I guess that's just the way it goes, especially, I guess, on a Friday night. Who knows? But here we go, guys. This is Daredevil number 229, the third part of what ended up being the Born Again saga, which is, it's probably, not probably. I know it is. I just don't know how it's recorded, but this is the greatest. Hey, Grey Wolf. This is the greatest Daredevil story ever, and arguably the greatest comic book ever. The way I distinguish it is it's Frank Miller's best writing ever, just as a writer, and Dark Knight Returns is the greatest. So here we go. The last issue, if you recall. Let me get to it. If you recall, the Kingpin, he went to hurt the Kingpin for blowing up his life, and Kingpin tore into him. Was set to kill him, frame him for a murder, to further destroy his life the way he did, through the courts, through the police, through the corruption, and he survives. And the Kingpin is left with one thought: there is no corpse, there is no corpse, there is no corpse. Brent says, sometimes color isn't needed because the art looks so much better black and white. It's true. I mean, I looked through this art edition. It's a stunning piece of work. It's not necessary, I don't think, the color. Sometimes, for the Daredevil costume, you want it to be red. You do. That's the one thing. And I guess what they could do, reprint this for like a special black and white edition and just have that at least. Hail, Wolf and Bear. Just have that aspect at least of Daredevil, the big red suit. I think that would be awesome. But I can't say. I mean, I don't know if they'll do that, but we'll see. Because again, it's this year, I guess this year and next year, because it ended up being 7 issues. I think technically speaking, next year will be the 40th anniversary of this story. 40 years since this was published. And I hope they come up with something special. The same way they will do with Dark Knight Returns. I hope they come up with something special on the 40th anniversary. And they shouldn't just wait for the 50th anniversary, because these guys are a little older now. Frank Miller and Dave Mazzucchelli. You want them to at least enjoy some of the fruits of their labor and of their legend, especially in this story. So here we go, guys. This is Murdoch, who last we saw, he was walking to an alleyway, just having survived this ordeal, and to sleep among the bums. So he goes, I never believed that business of your life flashing in front of you before you die. Never thought there could be enough time. There's too much to life, but there's really horribly little that counts. That's a state of mind. He's in a really bad state of mind, as you can tell. He goes, a sunny day, bright and pretty, the last day I will ever see. This is Matt Murdock as a boy. He saw this old man about to be hit by this truck that had hazardous materials in it, and he saves him. And when he saves him, the truck, I guess, gets banged around, and one of the things that they were carrying popped out, an isotope, a radioactive isotope, and it blew up in front of his eyes. It's the last thing he ever saw. But it happened to be that it enhanced all of his other senses. He can feel to the point where he can actually read newspaper print, because he feels the actual ink on the pages. He can hear better than anyone. He can focus on, like, there was an issue where there was a bad guy who had a cough, and or a guy who was taken, I think, prisoner by Bullseye, and he was isolating the cough throughout the city and found it. He can smell better than anyone, which is not that good, I think, if you live in the city at this time, at least. But he has this radar sense where it's like he can see the outline of objects. I think the way I see it, the way I understood it, at least in some of the behind the scenes stuff, is that he can see around him all at once. He senses things. He can see the shapes of things. He can't see the details, but he can see the shapes of things. That's his radar sense that he developed with Stick. Even though he must have had it prior to that. I think he did. I think Stan Lee or someone else who was writing years ago developed that. But Miller brought in this whole mythos of Stick and the hand and Elektra and all that. He really added to the character more than anyone. I mean, really. It's like he owns a character, not legally, but in a really serious, in a creative way. He really does. He brought more to it than I think most anyone. Plus, he wrote and drew it. That's a big deal right there also. All right, guys. So he hears this. He sees all black. He can't see anymore. And he goes, someone says, bravest thing. Okay, this is still at the location, actually, on the sidewalk. He goes, bravest thing I ever saw, but his eyes. That thing that fell from the truck, is it? Look at his face. That thing, is it radioactive? And then you hear it, yes. He goes, yes, it courses through my blood. It changes me. My blood, it burns. It spurts from a heart that's pounding so loudly it's trying to burst from my chest. My blood, it gushes through high-power hoses and slams against the base of my skull. He feels everything that's going on in his body, the blood flow, everything. It's amazing. My blood, it gushes through the power hoses and slams against the base of my skull. Everything hurts. I don't know where I am. Sandpaper scrapes my skin every time I move. No, not sandpaper. Sheets. Starch sheets. I'm in a bed somewhere, and the smells, chemical smells, disinfectants, hospital. I'm in a hospital. The door swings open on screaming hinges. People come and go, smelling like bathtubs full of sweat. Oof. Smelling like eaten food, like Italian sauces and half-digested eggs. They stab me with long, sharp needles. They fill me with drugs, but the drugs don't fool me. I know they cut my face. I can feel it, you idiots. Can't you see there's nothing you can do to stop me from feeling it? Everything hurts. And he goes, it's a real close up and it keeps pulling back at each page. Keeps pulling back. You can only stand so much. I writhe and scream, but even my own scream is too loud, so I have to stop. And all I want is to die. And a tear comes out of his eyes at that moment. But I don't die, so I have to make do. After a time, I somehow shut off just enough. After a time, it's only agony. Agony's better than what he was going through. Then, past the fumes of whatever it is they use to clean the floor, there comes a wave of whiskey, a megaphone voice. Son? Can you hear me, son? He goes, hear you? What do you expect? You're shouting. And he goes, the doctors, they say you'll be fine, son. You're a hero boy. You just rest now. He goes, like all the rest, breathes like he's 100 feet tall. So big, it's like I'm in him. Is that my father? Battling Jack Murdoch, boxer. Dad's anxiety paints the world red. He finally leaves, and it's another night of terror and the endless coughing of someone down the hall. Then soft steps, a soft woman's scent, a soft voice. Why does it hurt? Matt's in blue, and then the other person is in white. Word balloons. So loud. No, sorry. The blue is the other person. The white is Matt. Why does it hurt? The person asks, so loud, so smelly, everything. I see. She breathes. Down the hall, the coughing subsides. Just with a little care, and if you notice, the person who's speaking to him is speaking to him in a calm tone, and he stopped hearing that cough down the hall. So he's now focused on a person in front of him. He has slightly, and for the first time ever, had learned to control his powers. When she speaks again, it's a gentle whisper. She recognizes to some extent what's happening. Not fully clearly, because Matt doesn't even know, but she recognizes it's something. He's very acute to everything right now. She goes, this may not be a bad thing. What you could do with it. He goes, do with it? Just think of it. It's a blessing, Matt. It's yours. And it's our secret. Don't tell anyone. Promise me now. Who are you? He asks. Lips warm, kissing my forehead, loving, and something hard dangling from her neck. It's a cross made of gold. She says, promise me. And so he says, a kind woman's gift of hope to me. I never understand it, and she never comes back, but it gets easier. It's okay, Dad. I'm awake. He knows that his father's there. It's okay, Dad. Man. 1 second. Okay. It's okay, Dad. I'm awake. Son, how do you know I was here? Could hear you a mile off. Sit down, Dad. We have to talk, Matt. Man to man. I'm all ears, Dad. It's funny. It's about the accident, son. You were hit by something some corporation was driving through town, right through town. They won't say if it was radioactive. They won't even talk to me. It messed you up pretty badly, Matt. Your face. Well, I'm amazed what they were able to do with it. You're going to look good as new, but it's your eyes, son. I know I'm blind, Dad. There aren't any bandages on my eyes, and I've never heard of a hospital without lights. You're taking it well, son. Yes. I promised. So there he is. There's Matthew Murdoch, high-powered lawyer, vigilante at night, daredevil, in a fetal position among bums in an alleyway. This issue is called Pariah. He goes, I keep my heightened senses secret, even from Dad. I find a teacher who helps me master them, and Dad is murdered, and I become daredevil and fight crime. And other things happen, a home, a career. but the other things are gone now, so they don't matter. Gone. The kingpin took them away, found out my secret identity, and took everything away. And I attacked him, and he killed me. Wild. Wild, guys. Great writing. That's the state of mind that Matthew Murdoch's in. He's lost touch with reality. He is down and out. He needs help. No one knows where he is, though. Nobody knows where he is. It's a good man going through hell. 1 second, guys. Just want to see something quick here. All right, I just put another ad out there just to see if it would work on X, and the last few times didn't work. I said, let me chance it, because I do want to get my work out there, and it's not working again. I got to get another refund. I gotta work that out later. Okay, Uptown, where people with money spend it. This is Foggy and Gloriana, who are now, I guess, an item. Used to be Matt's girlfriend. She broke up with Matt on the phone in part 1 of this story. She thought he was thoughtless and a little mean to her. I think he was absent-minded, a little reckless, and I think he was losing some of his mind. He lost his law offices with his partner. He lost a lot. But here they are on Christmas shopping. I was sure I'd get all the shopping done early this year. You've been busy, Foggy, what with all those job offers to sort through. No kidding, like somebody dropping them down my chimney. That's a joke, Glory. Here in America, we tell the kids that Christmas gifts from Santa Claus, Santa Claus, he's this big fat guy who rides a sledge, goes, even in Ireland, we heard of Santa Claus, Foggy. Suppose you have. Let's see, took care of Mom and Dad and Cindy and Becky. And then there's a guy running past trying to steal Gloriana's purse. She goes, no, you don't. Glory, oof. Falls down. A bowling ball comes out of one of his bags, one of his boxes. Get off me, you crazy. She's going to fight to get her purse back. Some people just let it go. And Foggy says, and pork chop, my old bowling partner. Snick. The guy pulls a knife. Crazy, I'll kill you. Foggy says, got pork chop a gift too. Throws that bowling ball right in the guy's face. Boom. Great drawings here. All the expressions are fantastic. The hands, everything. Foggy says, stop him. Oh, what's the use? She goes, horrible. Horrible city, horrible. And when you look at all these people, they don't care a bit. Do you? Do you care a bit? Come on, Glory. Let's go find a place to dry off. If I remember correctly, Miller spoke about being mugged twice in the city while he lived there. And then he moved to California for a number of years and came back to New York. And I suppose he currently lives in Hell's Kitchen, but it's since gotten better. So here's Matt getting up. No, I'm not dead. Not yet. Not as long as I keep moving. Not as long as I keep moving. Then this is Ben Urich, working for the Daily Bugle, the same place that Peter Parker works. I wonder if I can get this a little bigger. No, I will lose some space there. Okay, that's fine. So then this is Ben Urich, the journalist, the reporter/journalist from the Daily Bugle. And he's visiting Nick Manalis, the cop who lied about Matt Murdoch, saying that he bribed a juror in one of his cases. And he was since debarred. He was had his legal license taken away from him, his license to practice law. And he goes here, My editor wants something sweet for the Christmas Eve edition. Something about little puppies, little girls, and puppies. And here I am at Bellevue. Forget what you heard about Bellevue. It's not a mental institution. It's a hospital. Sure, they treat lots of emotionally disturbed patients, but they also handle more than their share of what we like to think of as sane cases, like corrupt cops and children with heart conditions. My name is Ben Urich. I'm a reporter. This is my Christmas story. He walks in. How's the kid? You again. Told you to leave me alone. 20 years on the force. Spotless record. Didn't even take vacations. How's the kid? Just get out of here, Urich. Got nothing to say to you. And again, look at this acting, guys. Look at the way Mazzucchelli gets it all down beautifully. He shows age on Burick's face by those wrinkles there under his jaw. The shading there. Look at her face. Look at Nick Manalis. He goes, nobody's heard from Matt Murdock in days. He might be dead. Quite a frame he was put in. Quite a frame. And then the nurse says, no smoking in here. And Urich tells Manalis, he goes, you lied about Murdoch. You testified against him and got him disbarred and hunted by the law. All this you did for the kingpin, the top criminal in this town. You're not the first cop to go bad, Manalis, and it's not like you didn't have a reason. The best treatment for certain cardiac problems costs bags of money, more than a cop's medical plan provides. By the way, how's the kid? And then he whispers, he goes, complications, going under the knife in an hour, could die tonight. And Matt's there, keep moving, doesn't matter where. He is just seeking to survive. He knows that if he doesn't keep moving, he's broken inside also. He needs to be in a hospital. He is out of his mind, and also he's just destroyed within. And here's Karen Page, who sold him out, gave her secret to some scumbag criminals for a fix. Got to the kingpin, and everyone who touched that envelope with that name, that Matt Murdock as Daredevil, were killed except for her. She was able to escape. But here she is now. Christmas Eve. How can it be Christmas Eve when it's so hot? Christmas is snow and fireplaces and loved ones and presents. It isn't the Mexican sun and quaking from head to toe from heroin withdrawal. It isn't robbing a blind man. The second I've robbed, thinks Karen Page. So she's about to rob another blind man, the way she robbed Matt Murdock of his identity and his life. Matt, I robbed Matt too, sold his secret identity for a fix. And now I need another fix, and I need to get to New York, and I need Matt to save me from men who are trying to kill me. I need money. The second blind man I've robbed, but this one catches me, screams and won't stop screaming. So he takes his pot and smashes him over the head. Keep moving. Don't think. The killers can't be far behind. Oops. One little touch of that. That's really good. Good storytelling. 3 identical panels except for the surrounding details. Here's Matt trying to cross the street in slush and snow, cold as hell. Watch it. Out of the way, you lunatic. Get yourself killed. Deserves to get hit. Boom! Gets hit. He looks bad. Just keep driving, man. Who needs the grief? And he says, keep moving. Here's Foggy with Gloriana. Sorry, guys, got a little dry throat. He goes, I miss you too, Mom. It's Matt. My partner, or at least he used to be my partner. He's in a lot of trouble. It's kind of hard to explain. But as long as there's a chance I might hear from him, I'm glad you understand, Mom. Oh, things are going real well. I've gotten several job offers. Yes, I know you said I would. One in particular looks quite good. Almost too good. No, I don't know what I meant by that. I think he knows. And well, it's not just that, Mom. You see, I've met a girl. She's real nice. And here is the return of Turk and Grotto, who were mainstays in Frank Miller's early run. These two low-level gangster wannabes who did some jobs for the Kingpin were always, desperate to prove themselves and always fucking up somehow or other. Daredevil was always able to, get them and foil their plans. They were never able also to get too much of the attention from I'm sorry, one second, guys. From the Kingpin. So Grotto says, geez, Turk, I mean, we could have bought the suits. With what? We've been tapped since the Kingpin froze us out of work. Hurry up and get dressed, Grotto. He goes, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Santa Claus? He goes, shut up. Now we schlep to the Upper East Side. The rich ones give us money, and they feel good about being rich, and we feel better all around. It's the Christmas spirit. And Matt, even though he's hurting, even though he just hit by a car, got beaten up by the Kingpin, survived a murder attempt, take it off. He walks up. Take your face off, man. Just a bum, Turk. Already been beat up plenty from the looks. Here, buy yourself a bottle. He's like, take it off. And he gets stabbed. Shh. Oh, Turk, you didn't have to. There's blood all over the suit. Let's get out of here. So now you can add him being stabbed and bleeding. So then, damn. It's a great panel. Check this out with Ben York. He goes, Nick's son dies at 12:03 Christmas morning. If you want me to describe the way that makes me feel, you're a ghoul. So Manalis is like, I sold out everything to save my son. So Burek writes, he talks. None of it makes much sense, but it will. I've got my story. I've also got a world-class nicotine fit, so I lead him out to the parking lot, where I don't expect to have to face any grouchy nurses. And that grouchy nurse is looking on them pretty hard. So Matt, he's like, it's not just a knife wound. It's that rib of mine that popped like a wishbone when the Kingpin slugged me. It had the decency to stay where it belongs until that car hit me. Now it's all loose and jagged, and every time I move, it cuts and gouges. I keep walking, just because it's hard to. Man, again, just great writing. I keep walking just because it's hard to. And then you got Karen. Karen Page. I'm a real fan of yours. Of your movies, that is. She's like, I can see what you need. Not just the junk. I need a ride to America. I can pay. The smack. For that, I'll take your money. But the ride, well, let's just say I'm going north anyway. Got deliveries. All I need on the ride is company. Like I said, I'm a real fan. Just to update you, if you haven't paid attention, she was the secretary of Nelson and Murdoch, of Matt and his partner, Foggy. She fell in love with Matt. Matt fell in love with her. And at one point, she discovered that Matthew Murdoch was Daredevil. And eventually, she couldn't deal with it. She couldn't deal with the fact that the man she loved was endangering himself every night. So she ran. And she tried to become an actress. Ended up in porn films. That's the illusion, at least. I don't know if they spell it out that way, but that's how they call it. So then this guy is like I said, I'm a real fan of our movies. She goes, whatever it takes. And then you hear, excuse please, the senorita comes with us. And then the guy who Karen's with blows these guys away and tells her, you better be worth this. Again, great acting by Mez Kelly. Great expressions. Even the color. Chrissy Shield killed here. It's very, very good. So then Matt is still walking, trying to stand without falling. He's being looked at by some people. Bleeding inside and out. That rib won't stop. I can feel it. I can feel it all. Hell's Kitchen. It smells like Hell's Kitchen. Why did I come here? Worst neighborhood in Manhattan. Good place to get killed. I was born here. Right down this street, my father's home. My home. The only home I have left. And then Gloriana with Foggy. Just the contrast here is great. Matt is struggling to survive. He's struggling to even stand. And then you have Foggy and Gloriana, warm in a house, giving Christmas presents. She goes, "Oh, Foggy, you shouldn't have. You really shouldn't have. Oh, Foggy, it's so beautiful. Sure, and it cost you a fortune." And he looks at her, and they consummate what they've been working at for, I guess, a few weeks here. They got together right after she broke up with Matt. She ended up having her apartment robbed, and he said to stay with her. And from that, this happens, and then back to Matt. The wind is cold, blows fast across the empty lot. When did they tear my home down? Father, they tore it down. They tore it down. Father, the gym. The gym. It will still be where it was. It has to be. The cigarettes taste, this is Ben York. The cigarettes taste awful. It's like that sometimes. And here's Manalis just spelling it all out. Guess it was the kingpin that made the frame. Didn't know the guy I spoke to. Ha! Egon. No bros before hoes for Foggy. That's right. There was one issue, two issues where she had been complaining about Matt to Foggy. They had dinner together. That seemed to start this romance. And then Manala says, "Sold out. 20 years without facing a ticket, and I sell out, and it doesn't even save my boy. Didn't even save my thwack. What in?" So that nurse came out. He goes, "Are you, Mr. Urich, you are causing my employer some discomfort. And so my employer has asked me to make clear to you his position. His position is as follows. If you were a publisher, my employer would destroy your presses, since you are merely a typist." A typist, that's how she relegates him. "And it would not be persuasive to destroy your typewriter. My employer has asked me to make it plain to you that every time you speak the name Matthew Murdoch, you shall lose the use of your fingers." Hail, Duck Bacon. Crack! "You shall lose the use of your fingers." By the way, guys, I saw something, Ethan was saying something about that we're not supposed to say hail anymore. That's an old comic say thing. I don't know. I always see hail chat, hail CG. Is that the case? I think some of the chat pushed back on that, but I don't know. I don't want to be guilty of some faux pas, I guess, in comic say when I say hail chat. But I think it's just that's the way we, note ourselves to all the other, what do you call it? Fans. Hail, hail, hail. Okay. I guess that's the answer. So Ben Urich says, after getting his hand broken, he goes, "The worst thing is that I don't pass out. I get to see what she does to Nick Manalis." Hail, Travis. So here's Matt Murdock at Fogwell's gym, which is what he used to train at, and his father as well. Skull Nasher says, "Nah, Ethan was just being wrong again." Yeah, but he says he's never wrong. What do you mean? Come on, get it right. The hail thing has been going on for a long time. I know. I always see it. So Matt's here, and he's talking to himself. It's still here. It still holds it. It still holds the smells, all the smells of all the years. The sweat, my sweat, father, and yours. You trained here. You trained and made me promise to stay away. So I lied to you and promised and came here anyway. I became a fighter just like you. Endless stolen hours on the ropes, at the bag. On my mother's grave, you made me promise. The only joy I had, I could never share it. Now every other part of me is dead. Only the fighter lives. Now I remember seeing this and thinking, did Maz Kelly forget to make the fist? I think he did. And it's so funny that that's the case. I guess the deadline things happen because that's it's a missing hand, missing glove. It's pretty funny. And look at again the acting, the body movement, the gesture, he's exhausted, about to collapse. Look at that. It's great stuff. Feels only the fighter. And she's like, well, she's being taken advantage of by this guy who's trying to get her, well, who she wants to get to America with. She's desperate. This is a criminal, a bad guy who wants to use her. Matt. So he collapses, and then this woman comes up, this nun, and she says, Matt. So it connects the opening of this particular issue with the end of this issue. And if you read it, you know what this is. If you didn't, you might not know exactly, but it's pretty damn cool because this is something that's been long in the making, long in the coming. It's like, we heard some stories, some references about Matt's mother, but we never quite understood exactly what the deal was. And here we are, understanding it. And then you have Kingpin repeating that line that he said at the end of last issue. There is no corpse, with the same exact drawing, by the way. They just used it again. They repurposed it, which is awesome. I'm fine with that. He goes, for 6 hours, this thought has been ringing through his skull. The man he thought he's murdered. So exquisitely, so painstakingly, relishing every precious step, from Murdoch's ruin to his emotional dismemberment, to that moment of savage ecstasy, when the Kingpin's fists tore through him, cracking bone. The man he thought he'd murdered is alive. 6 hours spent sweating and straining, seeking the limits of his own inhuman strength, seeking that place past the thought. There is no corpse. What is it about Murdoch? He was a minor concern, a promising talent to be observed and catalogued and even occasionally flattered, perhaps one day to be turned to the Kingpin's way. But he is more than this. Now he is much more than this. He always was. And I have shown him that a man without hope is a man without fear. And then here's the namesake of this particular collection, Born Again. And this to me is the issue where Maz Kelly truly makes his stake, boom, as one of the all-time greats, because he just goes to a place where he didn't go prior to this. Here you could see more of a different style here, the thinner lines along the thick ones, where this is not brushwork here. This is pen work. And it's just different. It's different. That's a rock solid machine there. Everything looks perfect. Really well done. And here you got this issue. So I'm going to stop here, guys, because I'm doing one issue per stream. So next issue will be the 4th part of Born Again. I'll try to do that tomorrow night, later tomorrow night. And if you have any comments, guys, if you read this before, if you didn't, let me know what you think. I think it's awesome. And in the meantime, I'm going to see where I am here. I have 226 backers, guys, $14,846. A handful of backers, and I'll be cracking 15,000. I'd love to do that. Loved you guys to push me over that. If you haven't backed it, consider doing so. The one thing I can say in a nutshell is this, that is unlike any other comic out there. It really is. It's unlike any other comic out there. Takes on Islam and jihad, the ideologies, takes on the left who helps it, and even cowards on the right who want to pretend that since the religion, we got to respect it and so on. No, no. This is an enemy ideology motivating a global holy war, a jihad against the West. And I would have assumed after 9/11, I thought there would be a competition for me with the Pigman comic. I thought people would be creating their own anti-jihad superheroes. The only one who came close, if still half-assed, was Frank Miller with Holy Terror, which is a failure of a book. Really, it's you're going to take it on. You should go all the way. You should go deep and wide. You should study Islam and jihad. He didn't do that. Pissed me off at the time because I was like, he's probably the greatest influence in terms of me becoming a cartoonist because of his work like this one that we just read, from Daredevil Born Again to Dark Knight Returns to Batman Year One and so on, 300, Sin City and so on. Yeah, I remember being told by someone who knew him, his girlfriend at the time, at least 2011, I had released Pigman, and he was about to release Holy Terror. I think he released like 8 months, 9 months after I released my first issue of Pigman, even though I had released the first print appearance of Pigman, Propaganda. And of course, my blog in 2005, the San Diego Comic Con, my ad sheet that I told you about. When will comics take on jihad? When Pigman flies. So I had been out there already, but I was excited to see what Frank Miller would do. I thought he would make an interesting, impact on this front of the war, of the culture war against jihad, and the left's helping the jihad, which is what they do. And elements in it were pretty brilliant in terms of the design and some stuff he did in there. But overall, the story, I have a review of it, guys. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's on my channel. And if you could subscribe to my channel on YouTube, I would really appreciate it, guys. If you can like this video, I would appreciate it as well. I want to get more eyeballs on my content. And also, if you can follow me on X. Thank you very much, guys. And again, if you haven't backed it, I'll try to pitch it to you. I'll try to give you some reasons to back it. The gist of the story is this. The Islamic background of twins comes to the forefront of their lives on 9/11, which is echoed by the comic book within Pigman vs. Super Jihad. And the twins are one second, are Killian Duke and Salam Duka. Killian and Salam, recovered Muslim versus born-again Muslim. Same thing here. And the extreme versions of them are Pigman and Super Jihad within a comic book. It's two stories in one. Killian creates the superhero named Pigman and as a comic book in his world, in his real world. And Salam wants to stop him. And then Pigman is, his name is Frank Warner. He was an anti-jihad. He's an ex-Muslim who's been writing against jihad and Islam for years with his writing partner and ex-Muslim friend, Muhammad. On 9/11, as soon as Muhammad sees a second plane hit, he falls to his knees and says, Allahu Akbar, to the shock of Frank. And they take their sides in that war. And it becomes a super war, between them. Whoever wins that war wins the world. That's the extreme version of the brothers' battle. I also have a 9-page preview here. You can see some ripotards and war campaigners were trying to show my art as an insult, in and of itself, which I thought was funny because it was a particularly good page I liked, where Pigman interrupts this ISIS scumbag about to cut the head off of a journalist, and he's threatening Pigman, and Pigman comes up and crushes his head into his body, and he's still alive for a bit, and he's shaking where his eyeballs are like popping out of his head. And then the would-be victim said, thank you. And the guys, the Muslims who were doing the camera work, who were about to film this beheading, when they hear about Pigman's around, it's like they got to run because Pigman's pigskin leather can stop them from getting to paradise. So they turn around and they say, don't let him touch you. And they smash themselves through glass and they fall about 100 feet to their deaths. And Pigman looks down at them and he goes, what a waste. Looks at the journalist. of glass. I think it's funny. I get a kick out of that. And then the journalist tells tells Pigman, he goes, why would you save me? I wrote such terrible things about you. He's like, Mister, I don't know who the hell you are, and I don't care. Let's get out of here. Which makes the journalist feel even worse, even, less, even more worthless, because he starts to cry. And then Pigman at the bottom of the page is, because he goes across the Islamic world on 9/11 to avenge 9/11 and also to make them stop celebrating that day. They start thinking of that day as a terrible day for them as well. That was it. That was the purpose to do it. So he's walking out of the offices of Hamas, and it's a bloody mess behind him, and there are bloody footprints from his pigskin leather boots. It's an overhead shot of it. So I saw these guys posting that as if to trash me as shit comics. Like, no, because what happens? This Edwin something, meth head they call him, whatever, Methwin. He tried to attack me recently, and I ignored him. And then he said something else again. I was like, you know what? I'm going to, yes, Alex, but I don't think of you. Exactly. He says, it's just a different way of putting it. And Pigman's like, yeah, sure, buddy. I don't care. Let's get out of here, because more guys will come and you might die in the middle of it. Yeah. Yeah. It's true. And the guy's like, why would you save me? I think it's fun. You know what? I'm going to show that scene, actually. I'm going to show that. Give me 1 second, guys. This is it's a hassle here, but let's see. Let's see. No. I'm actually good. Nah. There's a reason why, but anyway. Yeah, Boyette. Edwin Boyette, yeah. I don't know him. I just know that he was part of Comicsgate to some extent. In what capacity? I don't know. Was he on the Comicsgate live shows? I don't think he's a cartoonist. And all of a sudden, he has decided to simp for Average July and his bad comics and go after Ethan and me and some others. I never said a word about him. I don't know him. I just learned about him through Ethan's show. And he's doing a really bad job of it, though. It's like, you're defending shit. What's the point of that? Methwin toilet. It's funny. So yeah, guys, this is my preview. Here's Killian Duke at work on his Pigman comic book within the comic book. Yeah, he's a stand-in. Yeah, he's a what do you call that? Self-insert, whatever. I like the idea that I'm showing you guys that anybody can be Muslim. It's not a race thing. That's why, I say that because I can't say how many times people told me, you were Muslim? How? It's ignorant. It shouldn't be that way. We should have really hit that home after 9/11. It's not a race issue. It's religion. It's an ideology. If you can be born to Islam, if you can convert to Islam, if you can leave Islam, how is that a race? It's retarded. It's just the way they do it to try to shut you up. And here's Killian wearing a Pigman symbol on his own T-shirt. He has Pigman posters on his wall, and he's lettering this particular panel of Frank talking about how he has to do terrible things to those who had a good day on 9/11. And then he says, they've come to kill us and we'll die for it. And that's something that I ended up using as a tweet after 2 jihadists came to mass murder us at this event where I won the Muhammad Cartoon Contest. They got their heads blown off. We're lucky for that. A cop did that after one cop got... And also one thing, this one war campaigner. I know they're just scum, I know that, but he tried to spread the idea that I got that cop shot by Jerome Muhammad. Trying to do backwards, like, you go out there, you want to defend free speech, and if the flashpoint of free speech is Jerome Muhammad, I'm going to Jerome Muhammad. If that's one thing you can't do, I'm going to do that. Because, of course, there's nothing you shouldn't be able to say or do when it comes to free speech. You know, at least expressing yourself, not hurting others, but expressing yourself in that way. And from that, I enter a contest, go to the event. They have a massive security there. They have a SWAT team. They have everyone. They have undercover agents and cops, and I don't know how many words, but they spent a lot of money because they understood the issue. We understand Islam, and the reason why we had all the security is because Islam does not mean peace. So two scumbags, Muslims, drove in from Arizona to come to kill us. They got their heads blown off again, and the guy tried to blame me personally for getting one of the cops shot. It's just retarded. Grey Wolf says Edmund is a pain in EBS's butt. LOL, he's rather odd. I'm hearing rumors that King Charles has converted to Islam of late. He's been threatening to do that to some extent. He's always trying to dress like Muslims. I drew him. He's in my book, Islam Bitches, which is now out of print unless there's demand for it. It's my book about Islamophiles, about non-Muslims who want to blow Islam as a lifestyle. It's like their thing. It's like, and my only question, which I give Muhammad on the back of the book, on the front of the book, he's laying out on this chair, on this couch, a very luxurious couch, right? He's getting his nails done. He's being brought juices and water and this and that too, wine. Well, not wine technically, and other foods, right? And he's sitting back with his eyes closed, but he has his sword on his lap, just to remind these people that he's going to kill them if they get out of line. And on the back cover, he's dressed in a 1970s pimp suit. And he asks his Islam bitches, he goes, yo, if you love Islam so much, why aren't you Muslim? And that's what I ask all of these rats in the West who love Islam, who talk it up more than they talk up their own religion or their own ideology or whatever. Why aren't you Muslim? What are you, Islamophobe? You know, that word doesn't mean anything. We know that, but turn it back on them. So yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if that idiot king of England does that, because he's a global warming whore. He's a worthless piece of shit, always has been. And for the last, I don't know, I can't say how long, ever since 9/11 at least, he's been dressing up like a Muslim with a sword and all that. He gets off on that. So I drew him as one of my Islam bitches in my book, Islam Bitches, where each Islam bitch is across the centuries. A lot of writers and this and that, and even Napoleon, that piece of shit, was talking up Islam, and others across history. So he's in there. And what was I going to say about that? I forgot. It's a fun book. It was my last book of the collections of Muhammad cartoons, and so I draw each of the Islam bitches, and I draw them all decked out in Islamic garb, whether it's Madonna or Spike Lee or whoever, right? And I have these these figures of Muhammad as a 1970s pimps. Every single one is different, from the hat to the suit, but he always has bell bottoms, platform shoes, and a cane. Different hats, no hats, and so on. And I call him a imp pimp because it's small. And he's the guy on the page. I quote each of these Islam bitches with the particular phrase that they said about Islam, talking it up, kissing his ass. And then I have Muhammad pointing at them with his cane, my bitch, so-and-so. And he says things that I, want to say to them. And that he even acknowledges during the book at one point, he goes, the evil falseness is making me say this, because he's like twice in the book. He's like, God damn it, I wouldn't say this necessarily. So I like that also. So in that sense, he becomes my bitch in the book. And, Muhammad has become a character of mine in a lot of ways, like Pigman. I know it's not the case, but it's funny to me that people sometimes say that, because Muslims, what they tell me is, that's not Muhammad. You never even drew him. I said, so why do you guys want to kill me? Why do you have a problem with it? Why are you always hounding me? Why do you send me thousands of death threats, which I put in book collections called Peaceful Death Threats, if I never drew him? Because you don't know what he looks like. I said, it doesn't matter what he looked like. I don't care. I draw him any which way I like, as a woman, as whatever, an animal, as a pig. So it's fun. It's a fun book. Thanks. Hello out there. I would love your book about the bitches. Yeah, it's out of print. Hello out there. I just sold my last copies. Again, when I was on Trashcast for the first time, and went a few times here and there, every so often, and then when I was made a king, I think last summer, Comics Gate King, which is the show that Ethan has on Mondays, called Comics Gate Kings. It's basically cartoons who've been canceled in their own way. It used to be a case where it was only artists who wrote or drew for Marvel and DC. He has since expanded it a little, where I'm in there and Liam Gray's in there and so on. And I appreciate the hell out of it. A part of me is like, all right, I'm going to make the most of it. And what happened is, ever since then, I've been cleaned out of my books. I have only 4 copies left of Peaceful Death Threats #1, the first volume. I have only 4. You guys can get them. I also, whoever wants to get it first, it's at boschwalls.com. You can get it. I will attach with the first copy that someone orders today, an index card drawing of Muhammad with it as a bonus. So I got 4 copies left of Peaceful Death Threats, and I sold out Peaceful Death Threats Volume 2. I sold out Islam Bitches. I sold out Propaganda, and I sold out Table for One, my first graphic novel. But what I do have is about a dozen issues each of My Muhammad Cartoons Volume 1 and Volume 2. I have about a dozen, copies each. There are about 100 cartoons of Muhammad in each of those. Part 2 has 40 exclusive ones that I drew just for that edition. And I have essays in there as well. I have commentary and essays. And it's fun. And Peaceful Death Threats happen to be the best-selling of my books after Tip for One for some reason. I don't know why. I can't say exactly. It's basically my collections of all the death threats I've gotten over the years. And I think it's interesting, huh? That happened to be the most popular one. And there were 150 copies bought for the parliament in the Netherlands by Geert Wilders to hand out to all of his fellow politicians, just to let them see that this is a serious threat. It's not just the jihadists, average everyday Muslims, engineers, doctors, everything, threatening me, threatening to do these heinous things to me. That's a problem when you have an entire culture that's a bloodlust, for those who are not Muslim. That's a real problem. And it's not just the jihadists, again. It's those who want the jihadists to do the dirty work for them and then celebrate them. Egon the Dragoncock says, Methwin, from my understanding, wanted to be like some kind of arbiter for disputes and wanted everyone to abide by them. Another wanted to be gatekeeping piece of shit. Ugh. What a presumptuous ass. From what I gather, yeah, he wanted to be the mediator among any kind of conflict within Comicsgate. It's like, who are you? Who are you? First of all, no one should have that job if there's to be one. But who's this guy? What's his thing? Stupid. Hey, virtual HMM. Brent says all the worlds are worthless pieces of shit, to be honest. Yeah, don't care. I mean, they've not distinguished themselves except by birth. It looks like William and his wife seem fine on the outside looking in. I don't know about them, but I've never heard anything bad that they've said or done. They seem to have accepted their roles and not make too much noise about it. Whereas, Charles and the other son with that Megan, I forget her name. I'm glad. Whatever her name is, making those reality shows. Virtual HMM says, yeah, Charles wants a global caliphate. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if that's what he wants. He's, looks like, what's a word? When families get together and have children together, he looks like one of those. What is it called? Anyway. Weirwolf says, someone posted that pic of Muhammad with a turban bomb on his head earlier today. I think the original artist was killed over it. He was in Netherlands. No, that was Kurt Wagner? Not Kurt Wagner. He didn't die. He died, I think, of old age. He wasn't murdered for it. They tried to get him. They did. They definitely tried to get him, but they didn't. He died. I think he was just old. Inbred. Thanks, Hamilton. I should know that, but yeah, inbred. Charles looks like he's inbred. I mean, he does. He has the close eyes, the big ears. He looks really doofy. He looks fucked up. He always did. Um, who knows what we don't know about that entire royal family. Oof. Some bad stuff, man. Some bad background. All right, guys. I just want to share that with you. I think I made my pitch here for the infidel. If you haven't ordered, I would really, appreciate it, and I would recommend it because, again, this is something that you're not going to see out there, not in any mainstream or even independent comics. I assume at least the independent artists might try to do something with that, but they haven't. They have not. By the way, I was going to show this video now, but I got a copyright problem with it because of the song inside. I paid for the use of the song. I don't get it. It's like, okay, there's no strike or anything, but I want to play it, so I'm speaking with someone. Hopefully, I can get the details there and dispute it, and play it every time I'm on here. I want to promote it. But anyway, guys, I do appreciate your time. Thank you very much. And if you want a comic like no other, consider backing Pigman. I would really appreciate it. I want to get to issue 2, 3, and so on until 6. Tell the whole story, wrap it all up in pigskin leather-bound hardcover. It's as relevant today as it was 24 years ago this September, which is shocking, hard to believe. But that's where we are. That's where we are because we didn't take care of business. We didn't tell the truth. We didn't unleash our soldiers on the physical threat. We didn't take on the ideology and recognize it as the thing that motivates this global holy war of Islam's against the world. And we're stuck here just, having to say, hey, man, what are they going to do? What can we do as citizens except tell the truth? That's all we can do. We can't act on it. Thanks, guys. Grey Wolf says, I don't believe today's worlds are descended from the Plantagenets, so thankfully wouldn't be distantly related to me, LOL. Henry II was like my 25th great-grandfather, LOL. That's funny. Hamilton Berger says, thanks for the stream, Bosch. Thanks for being here, Hamilton. Appreciate it, as always. Wolf and Bear says, thank you, Bosch. Great stream. Thanks, guys. Always appreciate you guys being here. Again, if you could like this video on YouTube, if you could subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate it, guys. Share this on X. And until next time, guys, thank you very much. You be well. Enjoy your Friday. Take care, everyone. Thank you.